What's going on, everyone? So we are back doing another video talking about the first ever reactions to CN City. All the way back, going to June of '04, talking about the original reactions to CN City. This is now our fourth video on the topic. So if you haven't checked out the other ones, definitely go check those out before watching this one. Because we're on page 9 and 10. We've done 2 pages of video. So definitely go back and check those out. But to jump right back in, Jeff here is replying back to Tommy here. I think you may be a bit too excited about the new look. To be honest, the concept of cartoon characters interacting in bumpers and commercial breaks outside of their cartoon world isn't new. In fact, ABC has done it for 2 straight seasons in their Saturday morning block, although one place, a stadium. I believe the concept goes much farther back than that, though. Yeah, because WB has been doing it for almost 10 years now. First with both live-action animated WB stars, then with just the animated stars. Cartoon Network has been doing it in their promos and a few bumpers for a long, long time. Remember the Cartoon Network promos with Shaggy and Droopy parodying Pulp Fiction? How about the Cartoon Network HQ promos? Many elements from those earlier promos can now be seen in the Cartoon Network Fridays opening. See the CNF site for more details you may have missed. Which, I know exactly the Shaggy Droopy parody thing. They're in a car in that one. Yes, the Cartoon Network HQ promos. And the Fridays opening is seriously one of the best block openings in Cartoon Network's history, right? At the end of the day, remember, it's still only a new look for the network. It is the programming and not the bumpers or commercial breaks that draw in viewers. I've disagreed with this. I disagree with this statement in the last video. Prime example is Fox Kids from 1999 onward. Their programming didn't compete well enough from the 1999 to 2000 season on, despite a massive overhaul in the on-air graphics. And they are now gone here in the US, replaced by the Fox Box. Fox Kids quit for numerous reasons. Fox Kids tried to compete against Kids WB's powerhouse franchises, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, and failed. They simply gave up instead of fighting the good fight and relied on 4Kids to bring the success that they had with their 2 marquee game-based franchises to Fox. Also, Murdoch wanted DirecTV more than Fox Kids anyway. Suppose you're directly referring to Totally Spies when you say shows that found a home on Cartoon Network. I feel that Disney should have kept it around on their networks here in the US, and it was a lost opportunity. Totally Spies, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. Family Guy, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. Dragon Ball Z, thank you, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. Astro Boy, new home, courtesy of Cartoon Network. Reboot, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. Yes, this is also very true. Reboot was not a Cartoon Network original. It did air on other networks, and it did fail. Came on Cartoon Network, was a success. Dragon Ball Z is the same story. Dragon Ball Z, I believe, aired on... I want to say it aired on Fox a long time ago. I could be wrong, but I do know it aired on another network. Failed. Dragon Ball Z failed before it hit Cartoon Network. So, just saying. Max Steel, slightly renewed interest because of Cartoon Network for a while. Futurama, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. Cramp Twins, slowly gaining a fan base because of Cartoon Network. Yeah, it's just 2 days, but I think the Ed, Edd n Eddy fans will warm favorably to the new show. I agree because of the art style. Cartoon Network has a history of giving outside shows that fell through the cracks a chance to shine by giving them a decent home on their lineup. This is true. Funimation probably owes a lot of its success to Cartoon Network, and Sony's not far behind, giving the network thanks. I agree. After all, Sony was barely a factor in the television animation. Now, most of their action-oriented animation, Jackie Chan Adventures, Max Steel, Cyborg 009, and Astro Boy, have either aired on Cartoon Network or is currently airing on Cartoon Network. And what's funny about this is Sony, many, many years later, would eventually buy Funimation, now Crunchyroll, and own them. This guy didn't know that 20 years ago, obviously. However, still weird how the world turns and works that way. Of course, it'd be nice if they'd give us some of their own, of their other shows that... Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Of course, it'd be nice if they'd give some of their other shows that kind of magic. Sheep in the Big City is one of those shows. Gosh, that was completely genius in a way that hasn't been seen in animation since Rocky and Bullwinkle. A decent 10:30 p.m. EST slot would be nice. I agree. Also, I dislike how you make it seem that the other 2 big companies, Disney and Viacom, there aren't people who work there that care about their shows and put in the same amount of effort that Cartoon Network did in recreating their bumpers and graphics. Just because they market their shows differently doesn't mean it's wrong. Also, Cartoon Network's philosophy may not necessarily be the best, although it may be preferred around here. Just some things to keep in mind. I also heavily disagreed with this comment in the last video, if you guys want to go check that out. This guy is probably going to correct him. Let me put this in this light. Disney has a huge animation library and use very little of those properties in their programming. Yes, this is true. We even talk about this today, 20 years later. Toon Disney and ABC Family and Disney Channel fail to utilize what they have, even though Cartoon Network has basically abandoned theatrical shows in a decent time slot. You can still see the occasional Looney Tunes short and Tom and Jerry episode on Cartoon Network, while theatrical Disney shorts have fallen off the face of the televised earth. Yes, this is true, because I remember complaining many, many years ago that they no longer aired their classic Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Pluto, Goofy shorts, right? And at least Cartoon Network does use their characters and acquisitions creatively in promos and on-screen imagery. Nickelodeon even does this to a degree on both Nickelodeon and Nicktoons, which I applaud for actually showcasing the artists and creators behind the shows. The thing about Toon Disney I don't get is that for a company that was built up on animation, they know appallingly little about it, and they don't know how to promote it well at all. Need an example? Look at their Toon Disney Double Feature Fridays promos. Aside from the blatant rip-off of the Bedrock twist as the theme, the whole look of the promos, as well as the actual packaging, which features no animation and only kids doing extreme sports. Extreme sports are so 1998. Keep in mind, this comment is from 2004, and it's funny to hear him say they're so 1998, which, keep in mind, was only 6 years prior to him typing this comment, and extreme sports are still kind of popular even today. Jetix is something else I don't quite get either. Toon Disney is supposed to show cartoons, but an hour of Jetix programming is dedicated to a live-action franchise, which is stupid. And Disney's best action animation franchise, Gargoyles, isn't even part of the lineup on Toon Disney. It's still buried in the late night hours. Instead of 2 episodes of Power Rangers every night, which could easily be moved to the Disney Channel, they could easily put an episode, he says easily a lot, of Gargoyles and an episode of one of their action animation franchises like X-Men or Diabolic. Heck, Gummy Bears, one of the best fantasy shows ever made, could not only fit in the Jetix lineup, but also snare that elusive XX demo advertisers nowadays need to attract. I agree. This is still something I'm talking about even today. I don't know what's going on with action animation today. It's almost non-existent in children's television in this day and age. It's genuinely almost non-existent in this day and age on TV. And I don't know why. I don't know what the issue is. But look, it's even been an issue since 2004. I mean, obviously there was tons of action animation shows that were on TV at that time, and tons more 10 years plus past that time. But right now, there's not much on TV. Cartoon Network's way of promoting themselves is by putting the characters first, as well as creating strong brands to back up these characters. Yeah, Boomerang, Scooby Alley, Cartoon Network Fridays, Camp Cartoon, Magoozy, Toonami, and Adult Swim are just brands, but they're effective in what they do. Some folks won't get it, and I don't think they ever will. But I think Cartoon Network fans will go with the flow, because the network also wants to have fun. And by looking at the way they promote themselves, it shows. I agree. Well, when I first show the new look, when I first saw the new look while watching Totally Spies at 9:30 p.m. yesterday, all I can say is screams loudly. But somehow I need to get used to the new look. Love the new bumpers, if only they brought back Looney Tunes for more hours. You forgot Sailor Moon, renewed interest because of Cartoon Network. This is true. This is true. There's so many shows that Cartoon Network had renewed interest, gave renewed interest to. Bumps and all that. Hey there, we all made the bumps and openers, etc., and believe me, there are a lot of them. Oh, there's somebody who works there. Just saw pretty much all of them in a row a few minutes ago, here at work on the theater. I know all the guys here are/were following this thread too. Miniature sets, no, all 3D. Jeff, it was a treat lying next to you, you big pillow you. Nice. What's the name of your company? Since your people did all the work, they should at least get credit. I wonder who did the music, though. Was it Kohler? I'm liking the new CN music theme. I wonder what JBV Remix would sound like. Do one for Toonami. I don't think he was trying to name them all. He pretty much did. On a side note, I wonder how Cartoon Networks internationally are going to deal with the new Cartoon Network. Maybe it'll be an all-American only thing, which it wasn't. In fact, it extended in other countries more than it lasted here. Like the new Toonami, Fridays, Magoozy, and Adult Swim. Edit. They finally figured out a way to completely get rid of Cartoon's entity. I bet they've been trying since last year. I guess when I go to Mexico sometime, well, maybe I'll know what at least becomes of the Mexico version of Cartoon Network. I love how they're working together at the very least. Frequent commercial breaks and new commercial. Oh, hello. I just had to ring in on about this new and improved Cartoon Network. Please forgive me for the numerous spelling errors and crazy sentences. Welcome to Despawn Crazy Opinion. Here's a quick summary of my opinions about the new network ranked 1 to 10. New CN logo, 8, great. New station ID book, 4, below average, 8 after a few revisions on the sign and transparencies, okay. New announcer, good, though the verdict is still out on that one, alright. A new transition between the shows and bumpers, 8, great, emulating Adult Swim style fun bumps, okay. Changing in commercial breaks from 2 between shows, halfway point, to 3 to 4 plus, -1 off the scale. Words can't describe my anger, though glad they are the same length, total amount as other formats. I do remember this at one point, but I don't remember necessarily minding too much. The meat. And he wrote it in Comic Sans for everybody to see. Nice. I've only recently learning about Cartoon Network reinvention/change that happened on June 13th or June 14th. I needed to discuss my opinions about the new Cartoon Network. So I decided to log in after years of just reading the forums. I've not been able to really sit down and see what the new system has to offer yet. Oh, the life of a working man. But from what I saw last night during the primetime viewing, I'm heartbroken and glad at the same time. At first viewing, I thought that Cartoon Network station identification logo was far too large and was not transparent enough. It is large enough to be its own network called Mini CN TV, alright, that could show ads while the show was in progress. The crooked C felt like just a cheap trick to appear youthful and cute to younger viewers. But after taking it all from my limited viewing experience, I do like the new logo, but despite the size of it, I think it means despite the size of it during the TV shows, he's saying he despises the size of it, I see. I'm sure that the CN logo will tone down over time as they fine-tune up the new look, which it did. I've come to the conclusion that Cartoon Network was becoming rather stale and repetitive on their look. Thus, this is a welcome change, and the new bumpers, the new announcer, the new original animation of Cartoon Network properties is great. Oh, how I love to see my favorite characters interacting and adding new thoughts and ideas outside the show they came from. It's great seeing Cartoon Network reinvent their image. Though I would have loved to have seen advertisements stating the new look was coming. Imagine just still photos of the new logo at a construction site, or something far more creative. No, I get what he's talking about, but that's just going to create unnecessary negative hype. It just was better to just, here it is. I think that was the best choice. Anyway, I could deal with the change. Well, most of the change. The one thing I hate and loathe with all my heart are the new commercial breaks, the rant mode. Lord Almighty, I knew something was up when they introduced the new Toonami Saturday programming block and the Magoozy afternoon. So many interruptions, 3 or 4 to be exact. I hoped that it would just stick to these programming blocks, 5 to 7 p.m. on weekdays and 7 to 11 on Saturday. But that was not the case. I loved with all my might the way the commercials were set up on Cartoon Network. It was a real treat watching shows with just 2 breaks in a given half-hour show. One between the shows and a halfway break. This method was unbelievable and unheard of on all other networks. Truly a thing of beauty. But why change something so good, so perfect in design? Have you ever tried to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Yu-Gi-Oh! On Warner Brothers or Fox? With its constant commercial interruptions, I've encountered around 4 or 5 max. For myself, it made the show nearly unwatchable. I gave up on those Saturday morning cartoons for the most part. As for breaks were not planned out around the action in the show and forcibly added into the mix. Watching new shows picked up by Cartoon Network with its 2 commercial break was a godsend. Watching Jackie Chan Adventures with only 1 break, amazing. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! 1 break, unbelievable. I remember that Pokemon on the WB was slowly adding in new commercial breaks. The last 2-minute wrap-up segment rings a bell. Another thing was the new show Megas XLR. I'd wait to see it on Sunday night, just to have fewer commercial interruptions. Oh, how great that viewing experience was. The most disappointing thing was watching them butcher up anime shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, Gundam Seed, Dragon Ball GT. These shows were never meant to be split up or cut up into 3 little commercial breaks. It was painful to watch, sad even. I think you're going a little far, but I get his frustration. For me, it was great as I knew when a commercial break was going to happen. The long midway break allowed for me to go get things done without fear of missing the show. The break happened between shows was great to check out other channels, go eat some food, or get something done. I know that the length of the new breaks are the same as the old system, meaning that the same amount of commercials were just spread out over time as opposed to stuck in larger chunks. But at least the long ones allowed me to change the channel without fear. The upside, of course, though I despise it, the short breaks do flow rather quickly but greatly interrupt the flow of many Cartoon Network shows. I've gone on ranting for far too long about commercial breaks. I could go on to discuss my opinions about how Cartoon Fridays were taken from us and replaced with in-between segments bumpers meant for, I'm not saying that word, some segments are so unwatchable. Or tone down the kiddie feeling Magoozy has. For older views, it feels like they want us to move on from Adult Swim while they reinvent and create a new Cartoon Network more dedicated and identifiable to the 14 and under crowd on the rest of the network. I disagree. I feel like they were including everybody in that. But I'm also trying to put my mindset in like this is 2004. What I think. Would I even like this CN City if I was an adult already when it came out? I don't know. It's as if they want to maximize the commercial exposure to make more money and to have viewers watch commercials in fear of missing any part of their favorite show. I just pray to God Adult Swim won't switch to this 3 commercial break system, watching Futurama, Family Guy, home movies, Oblongs, Mission Hill, and Baby Blues with more than 1 simple break. I'd most likely go in a corner and cry. Wow. Wow. All right. It's not that bad. It's 30 minutes is 30 minutes. The time slots didn't change. 30 minutes is still 30 minutes. Who cares if they have more shorter commercial breaks? It doesn't matter. It's either you're getting all of your commercial breaks. I mean, I don't know. I get his frustration of like, the longer commercial breaks gave me time to go do things. And like, okay, fair. I think that's a little... Come on. If they butcher the anime they show, like Tech TV did with their shows originally built around a single break should not be modified. Oh my, blood will flow from the wounds of my enemies. I'm so sorry about how long it got, and it got kind of turned into a rant. Well, it got kind of turned into a war speech, but sure, rant. But I just needed to post something about this change. I've not been worked up over such a fuss since, though I forget when the last time I wrote a rant was. Alright. This is definitely a forum post from 2004. If there is a cartoon god, perhaps she will come down and remove all commercials in the world and place them on a special network. P.S. I've been watching Cartoon Network for a very, very long time, and I probably should have said more about the positive changes. Thank God they have an edit posts option. Yeah, I'm no fan of the new logo, but it's a hell of a lot better than that Spike TV logo where a guy would come and spray paint it every 10 seconds. Why is Cartoon Network getting Cramp Twins? If they're getting more stuff from Foxbox, it should be Sonic X or something. Instead of Cramp Twins, they could air stuff like Sheep in the Big City or something again. Fair, but they have to acquire new shows. That's just a fact of the matter. So they have to try to just play. They have to play this game of like advertising their newly acquired show, giving love to every other show. It's like a game. It was tough. They did a great job for what they could do back then. Mayhaps they're saving the bigger stuff for when they really need it. I can see them holding off Sonic and maybe Kirby on Magoozy until fall. Eep, you're right. Big oversight on my part and clearly unintentional. We not only got the original 65 produced for the North American market, but we also got the Lost 17 episodes in the fall of 98 and the S and Super S seasons in 2000. Cartoon Network also spawned a renewed interest in Ronin Warriors, Graz, I didn't even know what that is, and Ocean Group's version of Samurai Troopers in fall 1999. So much so that Bandai finally released the series on DVD fairly recently. I finally saw the Cyborg bumper the other day with him and at the ATM machine and breaking it and saying he should have bought a checkbook or something like that. I'm liking this new style. It's quite refreshing. It's quite refreshing and pretty cool looking. Well, if that's the case, you forgot Big O as well. Failed in Japan, got renewed interest worldwide because Cartoon Network's airing. And then they continued to do that even on when Toonami got renewed with Dead Man Wonderland and Space Dandy and etc. Bumped again. They had one of the vultures from Looney Tunes as the mascot of Cartoon Network City Postal Service. Real nice touch in the transitionals. And poor Double D used a cell phone to get himself down after he got stuck up on high. Okay. Oh, it's this guy again, that's why. Hope his cell phone didn't get a virus. I heard those cell phones can get sick now. Real sick. This is indeed a change for the better. Plays well with dollies. Oh, always with the wonderful, insightful info there, Renchian. Oh, man, geez, I am slipping. Let's just say that Cartoon Network has done a lot to bring renewed interest to a lot of animated shows and franchises. And they look like they have fun with it, too. Which is more than I can say for their competitors. I'm glad I was not the only one who knew that. Nick seems to be so boastful, shy of saying we own the minds of the American youth and the pockets of the nation's parents. They're right, of course. Nick is the most successful television brand in the world. Put down your guns, I speak the truth. They have fun in their own way, but more often it's pride. After all, if you can get away with showing nothing but repeats of an extensive period of time and still get high ratings, you gotta be doing something right. And after 25 years, Nick is doing something right. And 20 years later, that still rings true. You guys know what I'm talking about. Disney's cable nets, on the other hand, are like, sigh, we have cartoons right on our channels and stuff. And they'll leave their stations on autopilot until the fall, which is why the arrival of Jetix midseason was so shocking. Hey, you want to talk about autopilot? Cartoon Network has been on autopilot since like 2014 to like last year. They were on autopilot. They were on autopilot for like 7, 8, 9 years. Cartoon Network changes almost every other month. Schedule shifts, new shows, specials. They tend to keep it fresh over at Techwood Drive. The new look is probably the biggest thing they've done overall, but it was the crowning touch of a new Cartoon Network that introduced Magoozy, expanded Adult Swim, and revamped Toonami all in under 6 months. They've done more in that time. Than other networks do within a 3-year span, and for that, they should be proud. Just think, there are 6.5 months remaining in the year. What'll they think of next? Now that they've shown off real-life animation of the House of Billy, my goodness, those nuclear reactors behind the house itself, it's just incredible, the detail. This is a very long page. My goodness, you guys. And Billy and Mandy isn't the ... most detailed of any cartoon show, and yet I'm at a loss for words, though I'm not currently at a loss for soda. Alright, once again, Renchian. I think it's because everyone's comment on this has been so lengthy. I think that's why we might only do one page this video, guys. It's too long. I couldn't agree with you more, Jeff. You can tell when someone has fun with something. It just shines through the final product. Yes, I agree. And all Pixar movies, you can tell they had fun making them. In most DreamWorks productions, you can tell they had fun making them. And with all the few reimagined good Disney productions, you can tell they've had fun making them. Because in the end, the result is just that. Fun. I agree. Cartoon Network, surrounded by their competitors, does indeed seem to be having the most fun with their brands. That's not to say Nick and Disney's creators don't have fun with theirs. That'd be overgeneralizing. Thank you. But when you sit down and watch Nick, you don't get the same vibe that you do from Cartoon Network when it comes to how they present themselves and shows on the network. Guys, I've been saying this for 20 years. I've been saying this for 20 years. Good job, Discloner. Good job. The new look. I am a longtime reader of these posts, and now a first-time poster. Ooh, first post on New CN City, first post on the forum. Very nice. I would not ordinarily insert myself into these discussions, but the new look is a pretty big deal, and I am extremely proud of it. I thought I could clear up a couple of questions. Oh, this is another worker here. First, the visuals were done by an amazing company filled with very talented people and cool people in Sydney, Australia called Animal Logic. Second, the sound design and original music were done by another amazing company filled with talented people in New York City called Elias Arts. Third, not counting the menus, there are over 245 separate elements, with the exception of some Megas elements, which were conceived by the good folks at Animal Logic. All of the bumps, etc., were written by myself and the amazing and talented writers of Cartoon On Air, which we did do a reaction to the Cartoon On Air DVD, which, by the way, is in my live stream section on the YouTube channel. Go check that out. It's a very informative, very fun deep dive on the Cartoon Network City bumps and promos. Definitely check that out. Not to mention all of the work done by Turner Studios just to get it all on the air. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that first one. That being said, this project's been a dream collaboration between On Air, Animal Logic, and Elias Arts. Not to mention all of the work done by Turner Studios just to get it all on the air. Oh, and I had the initial idea over a year ago, but it took about 9 months to produce. Nice. That's not bad. Only 9 months in production, and they did all this? Very impressive. We are very happy that it seems to be going over so well. P.S. I refuse to answer questions about the size of the bug or the philosophy of bugs in general. Nice. Good on ya, Lakima. Very, very good post. Very nice post. Well, welcome, sir. Very welcome indeed. If there are new series coming in the next couple of years, for more than likely, Cartoon Network will keep the new style for... If there are new series coming in the next couple of years, for more than likely, Cartoon Network will keep the new style for a while, considering how well received they've been off so far. How well they've been received so far. Will you be able to make an appropriate bumps for them? If they happen to show Sheep in the Big City and Robot Jones, both of which haven't been around in a while as a series again, would you build, if needed, the sets for new bumps, or do you have them in reserve? I love how he's continuing the build if needed the sets when we already went over that the theory of the sets being built and not 3D models was debunked already in this literal page by someone who worked there. So he's either not reading or wording this wrong. I think out of all the questions you could have asked this guy, something so obvious, like, yes, if they get new shows, they will probably have bumpers and promos that include those characters for the new shows. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But anyways, guys, that's just one page. We normally do 2 pages of video, but we're already at almost a 30-minute video here. But yeah, leave those comments down below. What did you guys think of another set of the first reactions to Cartoon Network City and its looks? We now have some insider information as for the details, again, at the time, as well as, again, the reactions to the bug and other things as well. But leave those comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks so much to Loser HD, The Plush Experience, Kame Senin, and Susan Simone for becoming members. If you would also like to become a member, on my channel there is listed multiple different tier levels, and you can pick out which one is best for you.